In this week's Tableau Tip Tuesday, I'm going to show you how I've been using the Tableau 10 device designer now that it's come out with the beta. I got a lot more of experience with it this week while I was working on Makeover Monday, so I thought I'd put together a short little video to show you guys how I use it. To start off with, I'm looking at a data set, in this particular example, that is human height over time. And I can see this original visualization that the data came from. Thank you to Sophie Sparks for pointing me at this data set. So this shows rankings for both men and women since, and if I go back here, you can see it's from 1896 to 1996. So a pretty interesting data set. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a few visualizations and then show you guys how you can use Device Designer to customize the experience for your users. To start off with, I'm going to change my default for my mean height to an average. And I'm going to also default my color scheme to match something similar to this example here. So I have a color palette that I call Triangle Chart. And it looks like blue should be at the higher end. So I'm going to reverse the colors and hit OK. OK, so the first thing I want to do is, let's say that I want to look for every year. I'm going to make this continuous. I want to look at the average height. But I don't want to add them together. Well, this is adding together men and women. But in this case, let's go ahead and show the filter for the sex. I'm going to make this a single list filter and remove the all option. And I know I'm going to want this to apply to every sheet that I use, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply it to everything using the data source. From here, I'm going to drag country onto the detail shelf. And you can now see we have a line for every country. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the axis by unticking the include zero option. And then I'm going to drag my mean height to the color. And you can see I get this nice little rainbow color. I know I'm not colorblind, so this particular example works for me, but you want to consider your audience. I'm going to go ahead and make the lines a little bit thinner so they're not overlapping quite as much. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and create a parameter that allows the user to highlight a country. The reason I could go ahead and turn on Tableau's highlighting feature and type in maybe something like United Kingdom, and you'll see it highlights. But what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to mark the ends of those lines based on the country the user picks. So why don't actually, let's just go ahead and use the highlighter. We'll leave this on. And I'm going to edit my title. And I'm just going to say, enter a country. And let's see how that experience works for the user. OK, so I'm going to go ahead and clear that. And let's give this sheet a nice title. So I'm going to go ahead and call this my, let's call this people are getting, let's just call it taller people. And then I'm going to customize my title in here and say, since 1886, people have grown quite a bit. Maybe I'll bold that. All right, so now we have a nice little title. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new worksheet. I'm just going to put average height on the rows. I'm going to put country in, in the columns, put country in the rows. And what I want to do is I want to sort these by the most recent height. So I'm going to create a calculated field that is my 1986 height. And I'm going to say if my year of birth is equal to 1986, which is the last year in the data set, then I just want to return the mean height. Otherwise, null. And hit OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and sort my countries in descending order by that field. Okay, and you can see that Netherlands has the tallest people. But what I want to do is I want to draw something similar to this here, which is almost like a Gantt chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and filter my years to just the first year and the last year. And then I'm going to put year onto the detail. And you'll see it looks like it gives me stacked bars. I'm going to actually convert that into a line. And then I'm going to move year of birth to my path shelf. And then let's go ahead and increase the size of these. From there, I'm going to go ahead and put the mean height on the color. Okay, so it looks like I did this. This shouldn't be 1986. It should be 1996. So let me fix that. Hit OK. And there we go. So again, I'm going to double click on my axis and zoom in. So now we get a view that looks very similar to this one, except I actually kind of like the rounded colors better than, or you know, the rounded ends than the flat ends. So let's call this change in height. And then I'm going to go ahead and give this a better title. I'm going to say how much has each country grown? All right, and then lastly, we could put a map on here. So let's go ahead. Everybody loves maps, so let's just go ahead and double click on country. And let's filter to just the most recent year. Hit OK. And then let's go ahead and put the average. Oops, not the 19. Or I don't even need to filter on that. I could just use that field. No, let's go back. Take that off and put the mean height on the color. Now this gives me a filled map, but I'm going to go ahead and change it to a circle map. I'm sorry, not a circle. Yeah, there we go. A circle map. And I've got 3 unknown locations, so let's fix those. The first one is Congo, so this is actually going to be Congo-Brazzaville, and Macedonia, and then Palestine. Okay, so now we can see kind of how people, the average height of people around the world, in this case, men. Okay, and then let's go ahead and format the map. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my borders. Where's my grid lines? Say no. Oh, okay, so it's not letting me remove the borders. All right, so that looks like maybe an issue we found here. So let's do none. Nope. Okay, I should be able to remove my borders at this point, but let's just do none. Okay. Anyway, I kind of like getting rid of the gray border, but it looks like that's not working in the map for some reason. Okay, so let's say, where do the tallest people live now? All right, and I'll just call this one my map. So now what I could do is I can go ahead and throw these together in a dashboard. So you'll notice my size defaults to my desktop browser. So let's just go ahead and start laying out our dashboard. So I'm going to start by putting maybe just all 3 views in here and sort of see what it looks like. Maybe put these 2 next to each other. And maybe the map, do we want to put the map? Let's maybe put the map at the top and kind of see how that looks. All right, so we've got the map. I could maybe change this to a, let's go ahead and make this a drop down, make it a little smaller. I'm going to go ahead and remove my color. And then let's just go ahead and float these. So let's go ahead and float that. Maybe put it up here on the map. And then let's go ahead and float sex as well. All right, now if I want these together, I'm just going to go ahead and float a vertical container in here. And then I hold my shift key down to drag this one in. And then hold my shift key down to drag that one in. And now I can format my container and maybe put a light border around it. So let's do like maybe a light gray border. And we can definitely shrink this up. So let's go ahead and make that smaller. Okay, something like that. All right, good enough. So we click off, and it looks like I probably should make the background of my container white so it fills in the space. Okay, so, all right, I kind of like the way that's looking. And you'll notice that I can go ahead and click on this device preview button. And when I do that, you'll see that it shows me a generic tablet layout, and it shows me the size. So apparently in the Mac version, it looks like Tableau defaults to 1000 by 800. So let me go ahead and show you that again. You'll see Tableau gives you this nice black border that sort of shows you how it would look on a standard generic tablet that's 1024 by 768. All right, so the first thing I'm going to actually do is I'd like to set a default size for my blog. So I'm going to set it to 900 by 700. All right, so I'm going to use that as my sort of standard size. So let's go ahead and hide the field labels. Okay, let's do a little more cleanup here. I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of my axis title here. Okay, great. There we go. So it looks like I need to move this around a little bit. Okay, try to get it just right. Okay, so what I want to do now is let's go ahead and let's create a, let's click on device preview again. And let's say that we want to design this for a iPad. And it looks like the iPad is on. We can then, if we want to create a custom layout for the iPad, I click on this Add Tablet Layout. And a tip for you guys is go ahead and always make it fit the width when you're on a tablet. And then I'm just going to go ahead and reset the height to maybe 600 high, something like that. So that should look pretty good on a tablet now. All right, and then we could turn, and then if I scroll through the others, so it still looks good on an iPad mini, an Amazon Kindle, it stretches it out a little bit, but maybe I'm okay with that. Or what I could do is just go ahead and change it to the default size, but no, let's leave that. Let's make it fit width. Okay. Again, you can sort of customize some things here. Now, if I drag, it looks like that got moved around a little bit, so let's leave that. And let's test it again. So let's scroll to the Samsung Galaxy, Amazon Kindle Fire, iPad mini. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my preview. All right, and now I can sort of flick through these and see how they each look. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and create a mobile version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and this is what it'll look like on desktop, tablet, phone, and I'm going to go ahead and pick the iPhone 5 because that's 320 wide by 568. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and choose Add Phone Layout. And again, I'm going to choose my Fit the Width option, and let's make this one maybe 700 tall. A nice way to know is how tall it is. So my blog is 325 pixels, so I like going with the 320, and I have an iPhone 6 with the 667. So this should be pretty good. But the beauty of this is now that I'm on in a tablet view, maybe I don't want to show this map anymore, or I'm sorry, on a phone view. So I could go ahead and remove that. And then maybe I'll just restack these to kind of look like that, so they look a little bit nicer. And so it looks like maybe I could drag this down a few pixels. So if I make it 700 tall, oops, not 700. Let's see. Okay, so that looks okay there. But then maybe I don't want to float this anymore. So let's go ahead and untick the floating option. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove the container. And I'm going to go ahead and put, let's go ahead and put the country there. And we'll put the sex next to it. Okay, so now we have a nice little layout here. I'm not sure why. I'm going to go ahead and remove that sheet because it looks like it's messed up. Put the change in height in here again. Oops. I don't want it to be float. I want to tile it. Okay, stick it in there. Okay, there we go. Now it's back in. All right, so I want to go ahead and show the highlighter. Where did it go? Okay, so how can I show my country highlighter from this point? So why don't I just back up a couple of steps and see if I can get it back in there. Okay, so it looks like what's happened here is I want this to be fit width and then entire view. Okay, so something's a little amiss here with the way that this is laying out, but I can probably fix that. So let's go ahead and just move some things around until they show up again. Okay. I'm not exactly sure why this is messing up here. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to go ahead and throw a dashboard title on here, and I'm just going to say um, humans are getting taller. And I'm going to make that my dashboard title. Maybe center that. Okay, so from here I can go ahead and maybe shrink those down. I'm gonna stick I like putting containers in my dashboard, so I'm gonna put my country in that container, or try to. Make this a little bigger. Oops. Okay, there we go. Now it's in the container. I can put that one in the container next to it, hopefully. Maybe it's not going to stick. All right, so let me drag this down and put that in the container. All right, it's not letting me throw it in the container for some reason, so I apologize. It looks like having a few little layout issues here. Let me make this bigger. Okay, there we go. So now I can just go ahead and shrink that back up. Okay, something like that. So now this looks pretty good, and maybe I'll bring this one down a little bit. And what I can do is I can now type in United States. And the issue here is we have to scroll down through this viz in order to find the United States. So this is why I was thinking of changing this to a parameter. So I'm going to go back over to my taller people, and I'm just going to right click on country and choose create parameter. And you'll see I get everything in there. And I'm just going to say choose a country. And I'm also going to add an option for, let's just do, first I'm going to clear it. I'm going to add an option for all to make it look like it's an all option. And then I'm going to just go ahead and add from the field country. Okay, so now we get a simple list. Hit OK. And I want to go ahead and show that parameter control. I can hide this one. And what I want to do now is I'm going to create a calculated field. Let's just call it country match. And I just want to say country is equal to choose a country. That's just going to give me a Boolean. And what I want to do here is, why don't I just go ahead and throw the country match onto the size. And if I pick a country here and choose Albania, so let's reset the size here. So let's make the larger one bigger. You'll see that it makes Albania a little bit bigger. So, and if I choose all, you'll see it switches them all back to the same size. But what I want to do here is in my change in height, I want to actually use that as a filter. So I want to choose either my true or my null. And oops, let's edit that. Sorry, just my nulls. And then let's go ahead and show. Oh, actually, my formula is not quite right. I want to say country equals country, or choose a country equals all, like that. There we go. Now it should work. Okay, there we go. So now if I go back over to my dashboard, I'm going to go ahead and choose to show my parameter control. Where's my, I think I need to do it on my default view. I need to go here, and I need to parameters, choose country. Okay, and then let's go ahead and kill that. Put that back in there. Okay, so now if I choose a country and I pick Afghanistan or Algeria, okay, you can see it gets a little bit fatter. It's a little tougher to see, so you would need to play around with it a bit, but you kind of get the idea. Another option actually might be, instead of having this as using colors on here, let's just go ahead and let's remove the mean from the color and just put country match on the color. And then let's reverse the order of these and reverse the size. Okay, and here instead of, let's make the trues blue and make the falses maybe like a light gray or something like that. Okay, so that actually, I think that's better. So change in height, and let's go ahead and we could probably leave it on that. That's fine. Now let's just take it off. All right, and then let's choose the map, and in this case we want to go ahead, and that's fine. So what I'm going to do on the map is I want to put the country match. No, I want to just highlight the country. So we're going to put country match on color. Okay, now I don't think that works very well for the map. All right, so anyway, so here we go. So we're going to use that. It's going to go ahead and filter everything. If I choose all, it brings back all. Change the sex from male to female. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to note my axis. So on my women, or I'm sorry, on my men, it starts at 180, so it goes up to about 185, and on women it goes, so I'm going to go ahead and make this fixed from about 135 to 185. And that way, when I go ahead and filter my view based on my parameter, you'll see that my scale stays the same, which I like. Okay, so let's switch that back to all. All right, so it looks like our line chart is a bit messed up here, so let's go to this taller people view, and it's filtering out. Okay, so what we want to do here is let's go ahead and remove this from size. Okay, and then there we go. All right, perfect. So, all right, and let's go ahead and let's just default it to maybe like the United Kingdom or something like that. All right, so now we're back on our dashboard. Now let's switch it back to the all. Okay, and let's set this, make this nice and small again. Okay, so now we have something like this, and I can flip through each of my different designs. So this will be the default view if somebody's looking at my blog on desktop, or I can go to the tablet view, and if somebody happens to be viewing my blog on a tablet, it'll look like that. All right, and let's choose this for men. And I'm not sure why my parameter isn't showing up, so I need to go ahead and fix that before I publish this. So, and then lastly, my phone view will look like that. So I'm pretty happy with how this looks. So at that point, I can go ahead and publish the dashboard. So I'm just going to call this my tall people, and I'm going to go ahead and hide, and let's just go ahead and publish. So I'm going to go to default, save the workbook, go to server, and save the Tableau public. And it should pop up Tableau public here in a second for me to log in, hopefully. Okay, not sure why this is taking so long, so let me just go ahead and hit cancel and go up to save to Tableau public again. Let's try it one more time. If not, what I'll do is I'll show you another way that I verify it. Okay, so this looks like Tableau public might be down. Good timing for the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go over to my blog and show you where I did this on Monday. Okay, looks like maybe the whole internet is down in our office, so that's not good. So one of the ways that I like to view this is through Chrome and using the let me kill my VPN. Okay, so it looks like something is up with the Wi-Fi, so let me just switch to the Cannon Street. Sorry about that. Okay, let me go to my blog. Okay, there we go. So for example, on this week's viz, what I could do is go ahead and you'll see it looks like this in desktop view. And maybe I can go ahead and publish now. Let's try it again. Maybe it was just a Wi-Fi issue. Save to Tableau public. Okay, here we go. Okay. And then once this pops up in Tableau public, all right, so the way that I like to test it from this point, I'm just going to say, okay, once this pops up, Got it? So right now I'm in desktop view, so that's why you see the desktop view. I'm going to just go ahead and grab the URL down here at the bottom. So I'm going to click on the share link and copy that, go to a new view. Okay, so now from here, what I'd like to do to test it is you'll notice because I set the width to 100%, it fills it up. Now it looks like we've got some issues here with floating objects moving, so that's an issue I'll report back to Tableau. But I'm going to go ahead and choose Inspect. And what I like to do here is switch it down here on the bottom left, switch this to Mobile View. And then go ahead and hit Refresh. And you'll see I'm picking iPhone 6, so it should switch it to the nice little mobile view that we built. Okay, and now we have our, we can pick them in, etc. So that seems to work pretty well. So I could switch it to a tablet, maybe an iPad, and rotate it, hit refresh. And this is a good way to make sure that the view is working as you expect when you're looking at different devices. So hopefully that was a good intro for you to the device designer. Sorry for the couple of hiccups along the way, but that's just kind of the way it goes. And hopefully you found it useful. Have a great day.